Bhagavad-Gita is finished in 17 chapters. The 18th chapter is a supplementary summarization of the topics discussed before. In every chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, Lord Krishna stresses that devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life. This same point is summarized in the 18th chapter as the most confidential path of knowledge. In the first 6 chapters, stress was given to devotional service. Yoginam api sarvesam. Of all yogis or transcendentalists, one who always thinks of me within himself is best. In the next 6 chapters, pure devotional service and its nature and activity were discussed. In the third 6 chapters, knowledge, renunciation, the activities of material nature and transcendental nature and devotional service were described. It was concluded that all acts should be performed in conjunction with the Supreme Lord, represented by the words Om Tat Sat, which indicate Vishnu, the Supreme Person. The third part of Bhagavad-Gita has shown that devotional service and nothing else is the ultimate purpose of life. This has been established by citing past acharyas and the Brahma Sutra, the Vedanta Sutra. Certain impersonalists consider themselves to have a monopoly on the knowledge of Vedanta Sutra. But actually, the Vedanta Sutra is meant for understanding devotional service, for the Lord Himself is the composer of the Vedanta Sutra, and He is its knower. That is described in the 15th chapter. In every scripture, every Veda, devotional service is the objective. That is explained in Bhagavad-Gita. As in the 2nd chapter, a synopsis of the whole subject matter was described. In the 18th chapter also, the summary of all instruction is given. The purpose of life is indicated to be renunciation and attainment of the transcendental position above the 3 material modes of nature. Arjuna wants to clarify the 2 distinct subject matters of Bhagavad-Gita, namely renunciation, tyaga, and the renounced order of life, sannyas. Thus, he is asking the meaning of these 2 words. 2 words used in this verse to address the Supreme Lord, Rishikesh and Kesi Nisudana, are significant. Rishikesh is Krishna, the master of all senses, who can always help us attain mental serenity. Arjuna requests him to summarize everything in such a way that he can remain equiposed. Yet, he has some doubts, and doubts are always compared to demons. He therefore addresses Krishna as Kesi Nisudana. Kesi was a most formidable demon who was killed by the Lord. Now, Arjuna is expecting Krishna to kill the demon of doubt. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport, chapter 18 of the Bhagavad-Gita, text number 1. Omagyanam timirandasya gyanangyana salakaya chakshuro militam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanto Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sute Deve Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kipa Sindhurevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Arjuna Uvacha Sanyasasya Mahabaho Tattvam Ichchami Veditum Jagasya Charisikesa Pritakese Nisudana. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, Jaga, and of the renounced order of life, Sannyas. O killer of the Kesi demon, master of the senses. One time, Srila Prabhupada said, I want you all, that means all of his disciples, male and female disciples, to be sannyas. Sannyas means being engaged 24 hours in Krishna consciousness to the service of the Supreme Lord. It's not just a matter of change of dress. Tyaga, being renounced, means giving up everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. In the 6th chapter, text number 1, the meaning of sannyas is explained. So we'll go back to text 1 of chapter 6. Shri Bhagavan Ubacha Anasrita Karma Palam Karyam Karma Karotiya Sasanyasi Cha Yogi Cha Nani Ragnir Na Chakriya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life. And he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. So sannyas means becoming detached from the results. He's not expecting anything from his activities. That's what sannyas means. In India, people think that anyone who's wearing the red cloth is a sannyas. And many of them you see in Vrindavan, especially in the morning, they go here, and then in the evening they go that way. If you observe in front of the Krishna Balaram Mandir, there are many of them. But sannyas means preaching. Ultimately, Srila Prabhupada took sannyas to preach. And Srila Prabhupada, he was being asked by his spiritual master in dreams many times about taking sannyas. He was a grihastha, but in the mood he's also already a sannyas. You must have heard of grihastha brahmachari, right? The word grihastha brahmachari, that means they only have procreation. They only have sex, the husband and wife, just for procreation. Once the wife is pregnant, then that's it. No more. Till next year again, if they want to have another baby. But then there is also what you call grihasta sannyas. How is that? Grihasta and sannyas together again. Because if they are engaged 24 hours in Krishna consciousness, then they are in the sannyas mood. Sannyas mood means no more material desires. Again, we discussed this yesterday in the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Sannyas means controller of the senses, the mind, and words, yes. And ultimately, completely surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As for myself, I never thought I would be in this ashram. Sannyas is not the goal of life. The goal of life is to attain love of God. So even grihastas, you can also attain love of God. As Prabhupada says in one of the purports in the Srimad Bhagavatam, you should be situated in such a way where you can be able to defeat Maya. Be in the situation or ashram where you can fight Maya. Either you're grihasta or you're sannyas. Now, if you're not able to restrain the urges for sex desires, then one is not prescribed to be in sannyas. But if you can fight that desire, control the desire, Prabhupada says, don't think that the sannyasis, they don't have, that the attack of sex desires is not there. The only difference is that when the attack for the desire for have sex, the sannyasis, they know how to say no. That is the difference. With the grihastas, they have license for sense enjoyment, but still they have to fight against Maya. And Prabhupada, he gave this purport in that story about Gajendra. Gajendra, when he was being bitten by the crocodile, and the crocodile is in the water, and the elephant is also being dragged to the water, so he doesn't have that strength, because the inhabitant or the place of habitat for the elephant, for the crocodile is the water, so you cannot defeat the crocodile there. So in ashram also, you should be properly situated whereby you'll be able to fight against Maya and be able to control your mind, your senses, your words, and ultimately fully surrender unto the Supreme Lord. And when I was in Toronto, I joined in Toronto, Canada, and somehow or other I came across with a compilation of Srila Prabhupada's different purports and translation from his books. And this is entitled, it's beaten up now almost, Definition of and Purpose of Sannyas, when I was a brahmachari. So this whole thing is about that. I don't think we have enough time to look into this. Because ultimately, sannyas or swami, those who took the renounced order of life. Swami means controller of the senses. And Goswami. Go means senses, and Swami means master. So both are the same, Swami and Goswami. Controller of the senses. And Prabhupada would give, when he gave sannyas to his disciples, some of them, they have, at the end of their name, they were given Swami or Goswami. Usually those grihastas who took sannyas, they were given Goswami at the end. Like Tamal Krishna Goswami. And some of our sannyasis, like brahmacharis, all life, then he gave, when they took sannyas, Swami in the end. Like Jaipatak Swami. But both are the same. It's not that one is the higher or lower. But here in Vrindavan, there is what you call Goswami caste. Because from the early days, the Sevites of the deities, they're called Goswamis. From the time of Raghunath Das Goswami or the 6 Goswamis, those who continued the service for the Supreme Lord, they also are Goswamis. But then later on, it becomes like a caste name, caste Goswami. There are many Goswamis also nowadays, because their family lineage from the early days, they were called Goswamis. Even though not all of them are controller of the senses. Not all of them. I gave a class here in Vrindavan and September 15, 2008. So I usually make notes. And this is all about sannyas again. So I never thought I would be sannyas. Well, the dress anyway. It's not that because you take sannyas, you're very advanced. That's not the point there. You take sannyas because you want to go back home, back to Godhead. You are determined. Because when one takes sannyas means civil suicide. Civil suicide means you don't have anything to do with the material world. You're finished. You don't talk like general class of people. There is no such thing as sense enjoyment besides kirtan, prasadam, and hearing harikatha. Mainly focus. Before taking sannyas, one Mataji told me, the president's wife says, now you're going to take sannyas. Now, no more Maya. Only Krishna. But the point that I'm trying to focus here is that not just because we take sannyas, because in our movement, the sannyas is very, very rare. Not everyone can 100% focus in such a way that, yes, that's it. No more going back. As Prabhupada says, if the sannyasi went back to the old ways, it's like you vomit and then you eat your own vomit. You don't do that, isn't it? But some of our sannyasis, because they were not, in the early days of our movement, Srila Prabhupada, he gave sannyas to very young men, in their 20s, early 20s. Prabhupada knew that give them a chance, and by Krishna's mercy and the blessings of the Vaishnavas, they'll be able to make it. But some did not make it. Prabhupada mentioned one time All of you may fall down. To all of his disciples, grihastas, sannyasi, brahmacharis. But the only difference is, I will never fall down. That is the biggest difference. Why difference? Because as soon as we think of material enjoyment, then the start of suffering begins. And Prabhupada says, don't make yourself fall down again, because it will take you millions of lifetimes before you can come back to where you were. Millions of lifetimes. But then Prabhupada is so merciful that for those sannyas who left, he called them back and he preached to them. Be grihasta. Be an honest grihasta if you cannot make it in that ashram. So ultimately, sannyas is meant for preaching. It's meant for preaching. Because usually in India, but in the West, they don't have that much respect and give values for sannyasis. But in India, when they see that you're having this lal kapra or saffron cloth, then immediately they call you Panditji. And Panditji means, oh, he must be learned. Learned about the Supreme Absolute Truth. But as we mentioned earlier, many of these red cloth, old men go this way and go that way many times during the day. But they don't preach, but they're just looking for chapati, prasad, where is the garam chai. That is their focus or meditation, which is fine, but they're not really renounced, because renouncement means using everything for the service of the Supreme Lord. So a Goswami is one who controls the mind and senses in preparation to becoming a pure devotee. We all have to someday come to the platform where we reach that goal of becoming a pure devotee. Pure devotee means pure, no contamination. No contamination means focus 100%, 100% towards the Supreme Lord. And therefore, he is not bound by the modes of material nature. No more karma. If we focus everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, then the modes of material nature doesn't act anymore. Doesn't act. So becoming a pure devotee means being a paramahamsa. Of course, in sannyas, there are different levels. Bahudat, Kutichat, Paribrajacharya, and then Paramahamsa. When one takes sannyas, usually the sannyas, he lives same village, but no more connection with the family members. And he will just wait for the prasad. Sannyasi is supposed to be not to cook for themselves. Not even khichdi. Because he only depends on Krishna 100%. So later on, when he come to that level, the next level of sannyas, then he will do like Madhukari. He will go from house to house. And then later on, then he will go travel outside of the village. First, you just stay nearby. It's within the village, but you just wait. And then later on, you go beg from door to door. And then later on, you go outside of the village and town and cities and countries. Then you become Parivrajagacharya. Just like there is a in the Lilamrita book, Prabhupada Lilamrita, Jet Age Parivrajagacharya. Prabhupada is in Paramahamsa. He's in the topmost level. Paramahamsa means he sees everyone as a devotee. Paramahamsa means he's like a swan-like. That is the topmost. That is the topmost. So he doesn't make any material distinction. He doesn't say, oh, this is a woman and this is a man. Of course, he discriminates also, but he treats them equally. For us, we have to discriminate, and at the same time, we have to treat, oh, this is a male, this is a female. No. Paramahamsa, he sees everyone as a spirit soul. He treats them equally. And this is how just like when Prabhupada is around, he treats both men, male disciples and female disciples are equal. But they have to be segregated. The ladies have to do their functions and the men, they have to do their own functions. But he gave everyone equal opportunity to become Krishna conscious. He says, one accepts sannyas after only purification. Purification of what? Purification of the heart. And purification of the heart culminates in being no more envy. No more envy. The material is the opposite. They're full of envious mentality, envy in their heart. As soon as you see something, I want that, or I want better than that. If he sees the neighbor have a Honda, I want a Toyota. If he sees one having a Toyota, I want a BMW. I want better. And there is a different degrees of envious mentality of envy. This envy is like this is the most difficult to give up. And Prabhupada says the main reason why we're still here in the material world is because of being envious. And Prabhupada says everyone in the material world is envious of each other. So a sannyas cannot have envy. A pure devotee of the Lord cannot have envy. But Prabhupada says one time to one of his disciples, I am envious of you. Because that devotee, disciple, is doing so much service at a certain age, early 20s, sacrificing his life for Krishna. So he was thinking that during my age, like yours, I'm not like you right now. You see the difference? You are dedicating yourself in a very young age right now, sacrificing everything, your family, you give up your family. But I was not like that when I was at your age. So I envy you. So that is okay. But envy in the material world means putting down the other person. In the spiritual world also there is a competition, spiritual envy. Another gopi is helping another gopi, serving Krishna nicely, and the other gopi would like to find out how can this be done better than the other gopi to serve Krishna. So there's a competition. So it says here, one accepts sannyas only if sex desire is controlled. That we already discussed. Yes, acceptance of sannyas should be only from another sannyasi. You cannot accept sannyas from a grihasta, because even though the grihasta is renounced. So this is how it goes. A sannyas, acceptance of sannyas can be from any background or part of the world. It's not just a prerogative of those from India. It could be from any parts of the world. It's like right now, we have a sannyas ministry. To be guru in ISKCON is easier than to become a sannyas in ISKCON. In ISKCON, if you have many followers and they want you to be their guru, either you're grihasta or brahmachari or sannyas already, within 6 months, they can have a vote, the GBC. But to be sannyas, you're like an elephant going to an eye of a needle. There's a waiting period. It depends on your age. Usually 50 years old. And in that waiting period, you have to do many things. You have to preach and preach and preach. They have to tell you, okay, you go there, you go here, you go there. Even in places, remote places. And you have to do it at your own expense. And you have to also travel with another sannyasi. It can monitor you how you're preaching. If you're preaching according to the Siddhanta, if you know how to behave properly. And sometimes there are some spies. You don't know. They're watching you. They'll make report. You go to different temples, they ask the temple president, how is he? What is he doing? So, it is not so easy in this way. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most ideal. He's the topmost ideal sannyas. Even though he had 2 wives before. Right? But then as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who came to show us how to be a devotee. He is Krishna himself, or none other than Radha and Krishna combined. He showed us how to become a perfect, pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. Well, he took sannyas specifically to trick the Mayavadis, because if he did not do that, and also for others, to give respect to him, so that even the Mayavadis, because in the sannyas, he took sannyas from a Mayavad sannyasi. That doesn't mean he's a Mayavadi. This is to trick the Mayavadis, so that when he associated, or he gave this association to the Mayavadis, they also turn to become pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. Now, it is not that he wanted respect, but this is for those who will respect him, will become elevated, will get his mercy. So a sannyasi doesn't expect any respect. If you think that, oh yes, I am due to be respected, then immediately you are in Maya. But it is unavoidable, because you'll be given so much respect, obeisances. But don't think that that obeisance is for you. It is for your dress. The respect is to the color, to the dress, not to you. If you think that, yes, hey, how come you didn't pay your obeisances to me? Sannyasi doesn't expect anything like that. If you pay obeisances to the sannyasi doesn't get anything. You get something. You're the one who gets the benefit. A sannyasi is indifferent. What indifference means? Indifference. Indifference, yes. That means, oh, I came from traveling, I arrive at the airport, and no one is there to pick me up. It happened to me in the Philippines. I waited for 2 hours. It was a big storm. I should be expecting a lot of devotees jumping up and down in a Rolls Royce picking me up. What is this? I don't have a cell phone, so I have to use payphone. If you become affected, but that, like, hey, why you didn't pick me up at the right time? Where's my garland? Where's my Mahapasad? You will go down. You will go down. So, sannyas means like you are indifferent. You're not affected by these things. This is external. If something, oh yes, Prabhupada says sannyasis should accept everything is given to him. He doesn't say, oh, this is not my brand. This is not branded. Get me what I want. I want this kind of color. So, because so many things being given to us, but we don't keep them. We give them again. Prabhupada is like that. He's been offered many things, but he's not affected. He was given a golden watch. Next thing he will say to one of his disciples who's doing so much service for him, who's printing so much books, he says, okay, go into my locker, here's the key, and you pick what you like. You pick what you like. And then one devotee will say, I like this. This is Prabhupada's watch. So, we should be indifferent also. Not just sannyasis. Everyone should be indifferent. One should not be so picky. Because if you become picky, then you are under the modes of material nature. You get karma. I want this. Whatever Krishna provide to us. And Krishna will provide everything that we need accordingly. He's just waiting for the moment that you really surrender unto Him, because we are going to be tested every day. The more one advances in Krishna consciousness, the more severe the test will be. Don't think that a newcomer is not being tested. What to say of the GBCs? Everyone who is on the path of spiritual life to go back home, back to God, is being tested every day. See how much you react. See how much you take to things that's going on with you. And then, when you prove yourself that you are 100% surrender, no more test. You already passed the test. So there's no more test. Maya will not test you anymore. And Maya, Prabhupada says, Maya will say, I cannot do anything to this person. I give up. Who is testing? Ultimately, the external energy, representative of the Supreme Lord. Everyone is being tested. How you think, how you accept. For sannyasi, or for those who are renounced, everybody, even though the grihastas, actually, grihasta means learning how to become detached. That's the meaning of grihasta. Okay? Learning how to become detached. That means they're not detached yet. But ultimately, one day, they have to become detached. That is the ashram where you learn the most. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the best ashram in Kali Yuga is grihasta. Not sannyas. Because sannyas is forbidden in Kali Yuga. Of course, that is another thing. Another subject matter. Mayavad sannyas. But in our movement there are sannyasis. But meant for preaching. But grihastas, grihasta means you have so many things with you. Material things means I have these things that doesn't have anything in connection with Krishna. Material enjoyment means I'm trying to enjoy, but it doesn't have anything in connection with Krishna. And grihastas, they're given that facilities whereby you can. You have to know how to balance it. And that is a very difficult act to do. Balancing things in grihasta life. Well, by ultimately, when you become balanced, ultimately it goes up. It becomes spiritualized. No more material things. Then you're also grihasta sannyas. I only touch very things. Oh, let me discuss this. Qualities of sannyas. Before we end, we still have few more minutes. Qualities of a sannyasi. Fearlessness. This is the first quality of a sannyas. No fear. It's like in the West, they have a t-shirt says, no fear. You've seen that t-shirt in America? Right? But that's not true. They are so much fearful. They're afraid. They're afraid every moment. Sannyas means no fear because he knows that Krishna is with him and therefore he only depends on Krishna. Simply depend on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. We should all be like that. If you depend on Krishna, you know that you are being protected. It's like a child. The child knows that my mother is behind me, so why should I be worried? Fearless. My mother, she told me once, what's gonna happen to you when you get old? Who's gonna take care of you? It's natural for parents to think about that to their children, isn't it? They will sacrifice everything for the well-being and care of their children. Even when they grow old, they still thinking, oh, how are you? They still make... But he says, Krishna will take care of me. We should, when we reach that age, then maybe we can worry, but nothing to worry right now. Why do we have to worry about that? Just depend on Krishna, and everything will be taken care of. Humility. A sannyasi preaches out of humility. He goes from door to door, not for begging. The sannyasi doesn't go from door to door expecting that everyone will give him donation. I remember one time when I first took sannyas, I went to the Philippines for preaching, and so we went to a program, and it was the birthday of the host. So we stayed there overnight, and the next day before leaving, he gave everybody a donation. And he forgot giving me a donation. I says, what shall I do? Shall I remind him, hey, where is my donation? I says, forget it. He does, see how I will react again. I says, well, he probably thought that he gave me donation already. So I says, okay, no problem. I didn't tell him. But if we are in the fruitive mentality, he says, hey, where is my donation? My donation should be bigger than these brahmacharis. Humility should be there. And you cannot preach without becoming humble, without being humble. Being humble means being bold. Being humble doesn't mean you sit in the corner, you know what's going on, you know what's the truth, and you just go like this. That is not humility. Humility means you come forward, tell the truth, and tell everyone what needs to be done. That is humility. We have a wrong conception of humility. Being quiet. Of course, sannyasi means quiet also. He is quiet because he doesn't talk anything except Krishna. He goes from door to door, not for begging, but to awaken the grihastas, householders, to Krishna consciousness. Knock on the door, like Haridas Thakur and Lord Nityananda. Mercy. It's one of the qualities of a sannyasi. Mercy, karunika. His main concern is to enlighten people in devotional service. Without mercy, one cannot preach. Without mercy, one cannot really tell others about Krishna consciousness. Equanimity or equipoise. He has no conception of anything materially important. Material thing means no conception. He has no conception of anything materially important. Of course, for the sannyasi, nothing is material because he used everything for Krishna's service. That means everything is spiritual. His only duty is to accept whatever is favorable for the advancement in Krishna consciousness. A sannyasi should be always neutral, seeking only the means to advance in spiritual life. Avoid unnecessary agitation of the mind. This is for everyone again. Especially nowadays. So many things. Reading uselessly such literature, including newspapers. The Prabhupada would also glance at the newspaper. You just see the current events. Not just like spending 2 hours in the newspapers. Useless dramas, novels, and magazines. Not meant for spiritual advancement. Especially social media. Nowadays, there's so many things. You can absorb yourselves. So many hours being wasted. For nothing. You get enjoyment, but that enjoyment is really material. You don't learn anything. A sannyasi is determined. Determination to serve the Lord. He requires paramanista. We should also, all of us, become determined. Paramanista. Simplicity, saralata. Another one of the qualification of a Swami, simplicity means not duplicitous. Simple means straightforward, frank. Spade is spade. You don't go around flowery language, try to flatter somebody because you want something from that person. As Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, one who flatters me is my friend. Is it? No. One who flatters me is my enemy. Because flattering doesn't, is artificial. Patting your back like this. Because they want something from you. Duplicity or cunningness is a great offense against the principles of devotional service. Yes. Materialistic people are very expert in this, duplicitous, because they always want something from you. In spiritual life, no, we are straightforward. That's a sign of advancement is you are straightforward. You don't go round and round and round. Spiritual heroism. Unless one is a master of the senses, he cannot become a Goswami, a spiritual hero. As soon as one wants to enjoy material nature, he is immediately victimized by the material energy. Yes, our sannyasis are like spiritual heroes because they sacrifice everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master. A grihasta. In Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, most of his associates are grihastas. Only few are sannyasis. But they're very advanced grihastas. Always engaged in spreading the holy name, teaching everyone about Krishna consciousness. So in our movement, there are also many grihastas, ideal grihastas, who dedicated their life in spreading Krishna consciousness. So they should be your spiritual heroes. For the grihastas whom you've seen, they're ideal grihastas, they should be your spiritual heroes. And many of them, you become like them also. And if you're in the path of renunciation, then also in our movement, there's so many spiritual heroes, sannyasis. I'm going to stop here for now because there's so many things to say about this. We didn't even touch the one page. I just in the first page here. But you will hear from many more exalted devotees about the perfection of renunciation for the next few days. Yeah, any comments? Yes.
Maharaj, thank you so much for the enlightenment. My question is, if you can share with us, if you think we will understand, some of your personal techniques that you have used through so many years, I have known you for a long time, to conquer pride, to practice humility.
Did you hear her question? Not really. She was asking how to conquer pride, how to develop humility. We should, as much as possible, try to serve the Vaishnavas. Don't offend any Vaishnavas. We cannot afford to offend, criticize, blaspheme any Vaishnavas. And we should always think ourselves as really very low. As soon as we think that we are high, then that means pride. We should always see, the more you advance in Krishna consciousness, the more you become humble. The problem here is that in the beginning, that is not there. And we feel very proud. We think we are so advanced. The more you advance in Krishna consciousness, the more you think that you are not making any advancement. And I've heard many devotees here in Vrindavan, Maharaj, I don't feel anything. Something is going on with me. And that is a good sign. A good sign to think that I'm not making advancement. The moment you think that you're not making advancement, actually you're making advancement. Because you're not satisfied with your status. The more you think that everything is okay now, everything is fine, then you become proud. The last thing that we don't want to do is to offend the Vaishnavas, thinking that we're better than them. The moment you think that you're better than any devotee, then you'll not make any advancement. And how to cure this, being proud? You try to serve those whom you are envious of. And it's not so easy. It takes a lot of humility again to serve those Vaishnavas whom you are envious of. And there's always, even those who are envious of you, you try to serve them. See the opposite now? And there's always one person who will be envious of you, because the more you become Krishna conscious, those neophytes, they would want to pull you down. And those who would want to pull you down, you get closer to them. You give them your association. Not pretending that, hey, I'm going to get back on you. No. I want to give you something that I have. You become humble in that way. Usually when somebody is your enemy, you try to move away. You try to make distance with him. Distance. It's the opposite. Those who are envious of you, you try to become closer to them. And you try to serve them. Then their envious mentality will go down and you make advancement. You become humble in that way. There's always one person who will be envious of you. It doesn't matter what you do. Guaranteed. But because it says here, you are non-duplicitous, you are straightforward, simple, by your good example, they will also become like you. We should always think that we don't have anything to offer. But don't be afraid to give what you have. It doesn't matter what it is. In this way you are humble. Don't try to give something which you don't have. That is another thing. That means you're proud. You try to give something which you don't have, how can you give? Then you're just speculating, and then you think that you are very superior. Whatever you have, whatever. It's like sometimes we ask advanced devotees, please give us your blessings. Say, well, I don't have anything, but whatever I have, yes, you can have. So we should be like that. It's not just, Maharaj, give us your blessings. Chant Hare Krishna. Actually, the best blessings that one can give is that may you become Krishna conscious. Krishna Matir Astu. That is the topmost blessings that one can give. But if you're not Krishna conscious, how can you pretend that you have and you're giving it to them? So, what's that saying? Pride comes first before fall down. We're already fallen. How can we become more fallen? It's not possible. It's not possible. So, this is the first quality of the devotee must develop, humility. It's like Prabhupada. Every time that he is being praised and glorified, he always give the credits to his Guru Maharaj, to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. What do we have? We don't have anything. Just think of where we came from. We came from Cannot even describe where we came from. We came from, not from the gutter. We came from under the gutter. Now, under the gutter is very serious. It's stuck. At least the gutter, it keeps flowing. But under, it's very, very serious there. It cannot be cleaned. Right? So, we should always think that we are helpless. We should always think that our only hope is that by the mercy of Guru and Krishna and by serving the Vaishnavas to get their favor, then we'll make some advancement. Otherwise, no, not possible. Not possible. The main thing is not to offend the Vaishnavas. If you want to stay in Vrindavan, if you want to keep executing devotional service, don't offend any Vaishnavas. When we say Vaishnavas, not only the sannyasis or those who have positions, even everybody. And for that matter, not just for the Vaishnavas, also the materialist. The test of your humility is that when you are alone and not with the Vaishnavas, is if you are alone with the materialist, how you treat them. Because you may think, hey, I'm a Vaishnava, I'm better than you. You don't know anything, I know everything. The test of one's humility and Krishna consciousness can be tested when you are alone. Then you can test whether you're Krishna conscious or not. Because it's only you and your mind and the super soul. Anything else? Is that a comment or a question? Question. Karbajan Prabhu always have a comment or a question. Yes, sir.
Correct. Just like as someone is in the management and he has to see everything. So sometimes you feel that I am offending someone. So what can you say for that?
No. If you're in the right position, you're not really offending. You're just establishing what needs to be done. If the other person sees that you are offending them, you are protected. It is because of the neophyte mentality of the person whom you're trying to correct or put in the proper position that they think that, hey, why are you offending? This is an offense. No, it's not, because you're trying to establish truth. You're trying to establish Siddhanta. It's like Prabhupada, the others in his preaching, in his bold preaching, others may feel offended, but he doesn't care. He's ready to swing a carthouse into the face of Mayavadi. They were in a program, and when Mayavadi started to speak, and he told his disciples, start chanting, and still keep on talking. He was ready. He took one of the cartels. He's ready to swing, right? And others, they become, hey, your Guru Maharaj becoming angry. Why? This is not proper. He's a sadhu. Sadhu's supposed to be not angry. It's like for myself, it was like my role in Krishna Balaram Mandir. I'm a sannyasi. I'm a resident sannyasi. At the same time, also a manager, one of the managers. So sannyasi should be like, shanti. But I cannot be shanti. I'm also playing the hat of a manager. So if I see something wrong, and I tell you, please correct this, what can I do? So as much as possible, I don't want to do that, but I'm forced to do that because We are meant to do it. It will be, if I don't say anything, if I see some mistakes or something wrong, then I'll be more in the mode of ignorance than you. And if you become offended from what I'm gonna do or gonna say, please excuse me, I'm sorry. I still have to say what I have to say. Otherwise, it'll be chaos. It'll be haywire here. I'm sorry. I cannot close my eyes, put plug in my ears, and shut my mouth. I cannot do that. And right from the very beginning, I was like that. So somehow, I'm not expecting myself. I did not expect myself to end up here and become a manager and become a sannyasi. This is my destiny. Everyone has his own destiny. Find that destiny and do the best of how you can do it. Every one of us has something to offer to Krishna. This is the uniqueness of the soul. You have some special talent to give and offer to serve Krishna. Find that one. And if you cannot find it, that's why there is Guru. The Guru will tell you what to do because he can see your future, not for the next 1 year or 2 years. He can see your future 20 years and even after this lifetime. This is Guru. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki! Hidayat Gaur Premanande!